NotebookLM and La Compagnie des ethnographes presents Rare Earth. Part 1. Introduction.
Welcome in, everyone, to another deep dive. Today we're going to kind of take a look behind the curtain of something that's really fascinating, I think, and that's rare earth elements.
Yeah, and we've got some really interesting sources to kind of pick apart today. We've got some in-depth analyses from some experts. We've got some recent news articles, kind of covering the latest developments in this space, and even a peek into the minds of investors who are putting their money where their mouth is. They're making strategic bets on these crucial minerals.
Okay, so let's just jump right into this then. So first things first, rare earths, are they really rare? I mean, the name kind of implies they're scarce.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a deceptive term, actually. While they are called rare, they are found all over the planet. The real complexity comes not in their availability, but in the economics of actually extracting and processing them.
Oh, okay. So it's not as simple as, just digging a hole and scooping them up.
Right. It's a bit like having flour doesn't mean you automatically have cake.
All right. You need all the other ingredients and somebody who knows how to bake and all that stuff.
Exactly. You've got to have all the right ingredients, the right tools, the expertise to put it all together.
So is it even a matter of like where they're located, or is it really just how hard it is to get them out of the ground?
Well, so it's a combination of factors. Rare earth elements often occur together in these really complex mineral formations, and extracting one element efficiently without disrupting the delicate balance of others. It's a real technological and economic puzzle.
Okay, so it's a puzzle, but then also you have to, take into account the economics of it.
Right, exactly. So, if you can't make a profit from extracting these elements, then it's not a sustainable business.
Right, of course. And I seem to remember that China has a pretty significant role in all of this.
Absolutely. China has invested very strategically in rare earth mining and processing for decades now, and this has given them a significant advantage in the global market.
Okay, and so they control like a big portion of just the raw materials themselves? Or
They do, yeah. They control a large portion of both the raw materials and the processing capacity that's needed to turn those raw materials into usable products.
Oh, wow. So they've really got a pretty tight grip on the whole process.
Yeah, they do, and it's not by accident. They recognized early on the strategic importance of these elements.
It seems like, yeah, they were way ahead of the curve on this.
They were. One of our sources actually mentions a quote from Deng Xiaoping back in the 1980s.
Okay.
He said, and this is kind of a famous quote, "The Middle East has its oil. China has rare earths."
Oh, that's pretty insightful for back then.
It is, and it shows how early on they recognized the potential power of controlling these resources.
So they saw that, in the future, all these technologies would rely on these rare earths, and they kind of made sure they were in the driver's seat.
Exactly. And it's not just about the materials themselves, right? It's about the power and influence that comes from controlling them.
Oh, yeah, for sure. If you've got something that everybody needs, you kind of have the upper hand in a lot of situations.
Right. It's about shaping global supply chains and wielding economic leverage on the world stage.
Right. So it's not just, some rocks in the ground. It's about geopolitics and the balance of power and all of that.
It is all of that. And so the question becomes, how have other countries reacted to this?
Yeah, I mean, have they just kind of conceded defeat, or are they, trying to catch up?
Well, it's not really about defeat. It's about recognizing the strategic importance of rare earths and taking action to diversify their supply chains and reduce their reliance on China.
Okay, so what are they doing? Are there other countries that are, trying to get into the rare earth game?
There are, yeah. The U.S., for example, has restarted domestic production at the Mountain Pass mine in California.
Oh, yeah, I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, but it's a relatively small operation compared to China's output.
So it's a start, but they've got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah. And then other countries, too, like Australia and Vietnam, are also ramping up their rare earth operations.
Okay, so it's becoming kind of a global race to secure these resources.
It is. And it's fascinating how this connects to, global economics and geopolitics.
It's like a big game of chess with these rare earths as the key pieces.
That's a great analogy. And just like in chess, each move has consequences. And we saw this play out back in 2010 when there was a territorial dispute between China and Japan.
Oh, right. I remember hearing about that.
And what happened was that China basically disrupted their rare earth exports to Japan.
Oh, wow. So they use their control over these elements as leverage.
They did. And it sent shockwaves through global markets, and it really highlighted the vulnerabilities of being too reliant on a single source for something so crucial.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if you're putting all your eggs in one basket, you're kind of setting yourself up for trouble.
Exactly. And speaking of vulnerabilities, our sources also highlighted the situation with cobalt.
Oh, right, cobalt. That's not a rare earth element, is it?
It's not, but it's often grouped with them because of its importance in electric vehicle batteries.
Oh, yeah, of course, batteries are huge right now.
They are. And the DRC, which holds the majority of the world's cobalt reserves, presents a whole other set of challenges.
Oh, in what way?
Well, the DRC, it's a stark case study of how control over critical minerals can have far-reaching implications. The conditions in some of the Congolese mines, particularly those associated with cobalt, have raised serious ethical concerns about worker exploitation and environmental damage.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about the economics of it. There are serious human rights and environmental issues at play here.
There are, and it's a reminder that the pursuit of these essential materials should not come at the cost of human rights or environmental sustainability.
Absolutely. We can't just turn a blind eye to those things.
We can't. As we explore the world of rare earths, it's crucial to keep those ethical considerations in mind. It's not just about who controls the resources, but how they are extracted, processed, and used.
Right. It's about the whole picture, the whole life cycle of these materials and the impact they have at every stage. And it makes me think of this whole idea of, a circular economy where we're recycling and reusing materials to reduce our reliance on mining virgin resources. Did our sources mention anything about that?
They did. Recycling rare earths is gaining traction with companies like Apple, for example, boasting high percentages of recycled materials in their products.
Oh, that's good to hear.
It is, but there's still a long way to go in terms of, creating these really robust and efficient recycling systems.
Right. So it's a step in the right direction, but we're not quite there yet.
Yeah, and beyond recycling, researchers are exploring these innovative ways to extract rare earths from unconventional sources like coal ash.
Oh, wow. Coal ash. That's interesting.
Yeah, and there's even research into using bacteria to leach rare earths from ore.
Wow, bacteria. That's pretty amazing.
It is. It's a potentially groundbreaking approach for more sustainable extraction.
So it sounds like there are a lot of really smart people working on finding solutions to these challenges.
There are, and it's a reminder that human ingenuity and innovation are crucial in addressing these complex challenges.
Okay, so we've got this picture of China holding this dominant position in the rare earth market, with other countries working to diversify their sources, and researchers exploring these new technologies and recycling methods. It's a lot to take in.
It is a lot.
But what does it all mean for the average person? Why should someone listening to this care about these elements that they've probably never even heard of?
That's a great question. And the answer is that rare earths are far more important than most people realize.
Okay.
They impact everything from the smartphones in our pockets, to the electric cars on the road, to the renewable energy technologies that will power our future.
Oh, wow. So they're kind of the invisible force behind so much of our technology and progress.
Exactly. And understanding the dynamics of this market helps us make more informed decisions as consumers, citizens, and investors.
That's a good point. It's like we need to be more aware of where the materials in our products come from and how they're extracted and processed.
Absolutely. It's about becoming more conscious consumers and recognizing the interconnectedness of the global economy and the choices we make.
Right, we're all part of this system, and our choices have consequences.
They do. And by understanding these complex dynamics, we can start to advocate for more responsible sourcing, sustainable practices, and a future where technological advancement goes hand in hand with ethical considerations and environmental stewardship.
It's about making sure that progress doesn't come at the cost of people or the planet.